You think you can blackmail me with this nonsense? I will ruin you!
You are in no position to make threats, not anymore.
I'm staring at my phone like it just confessed to a crime. The text from Vanessa glows on the screen. Working late again. Big client. Don't wait up. It's 9:47 p.m. on a Thursday, and my wife thinks I'm an idiot. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. The thing is, I've always been good with details. It's what made me a decent architect before the economy decided my profession was about as useful as a chocolate teapot. Now I design strip malls and gas stations, but the eye for patterns remains sharp as ever. Pattern number 1. Vanessa's been working late every Tuesday and Thursday for 6 weeks. Pattern number 2. Her phone's location services show she's not at the Meridian real estate office downtown. She's at Romano's Bistro, that overpriced Italian place where entrees start at $40. Pattern number 3. Her credit card statements show charges at Victoria's Secret, a spa, and a boutique hotel. All on days she claimed to be showing houses to difficult clients. I pour myself 3 fingers of bourbon and settle into my drafting chair. The house feels different when she's gone, bigger somehow, like the walls are holding their breath. Our 16-year-old daughter Emma is at her friend's house, and our 14-year-old son Jake is gaming upstairs with his headphones on. The silence gives me space to think, and thinking is dangerous territory these days. My phone buzzes, a notification from the shared location app we set up years ago for safety. Vanessa's little blue dot sits squarely on Romano's Bistro. I screenshot it, adding it to the folder I've been building. Evidence. That's what this is, though I haven't admitted it to myself until now. I open my laptop and pull up our joint credit card account. There it is, Romano's Bistro, $127.43, charged 20 minutes ago, for someone supposedly showing a 3-bedroom ranch to empty nesters. The bourbon burns, but not as much as the realization that I've become the cliché. The husband who's the last to know. I grab my keys. The drive downtown takes 15 minutes, but it feels like hours. Every red light gives me time to reconsider, to turn around and pretend I never saw the patterns. But architects don't ignore structural problems. We investigate them before the whole building comes down. Romano's sits on 5th Street, all warm lighting and fake Italian charm. Through the window, I can see couples leaning across small tables, wine glasses catching the candlelight. It looks romantic. It looks expensive. It looks exactly like the kind of place my wife would choose for an affair. I park across the street and wait. My hands are shaking. From anger or fear, I can't tell. Maybe both. At 10:23 p.m. they emerge. Vanessa looks stunning. She's wearing the black dress I bought her for our anniversary last year, the one she claimed was too fancy for anywhere we'd go. Her hair is different, shorter, more stylish. She looks like she did when we first met, before mortgages and kids and my failing career ground us down into suburban zombies. The man beside her is everything I'm not. Tall where I'm average, confident where I'm cautious, expensive where I'm practical. He's got that slicked back hair thing going on, and a watch that probably costs more than my car. His hand rests on the small of her back as they walk, casual and possessive. They stop beside a silver BMW. Of course it's a BMW. He opens the passenger door for her. When's the last time I did that? And she slides in with a laugh I haven't heard in years. I follow them. The BMW heads toward the Riverside district, where the city's been gentrifying old warehouses into luxury condos. They park at Meridian Towers, a glass and steel monument to everything I can't afford. He uses a key fob to get into the parking garage. I sit in my 12-year-old Honda watching the garage entrance, feeling like a private investigator in a bad movie. But this isn't entertainment. This is my life cracking down the middle. My phone buzzes. Vanessa. Client meeting ran super late. Crashing at Sarah's tonight, love you. Sarah. her college roommate who lives in Portland, 3,000 miles from Meridian Towers. I drive home in a daze, my mind already working through the implications. How long has this been going on? Who else knows? Are my kids aware their mother is a liar? Back in my study, I pour another bourbon and open a new folder on my desktop. I name it Evidence and start uploading screenshots, credit card statements, location data, everything I've been unconsciously collecting for weeks. By 3 a.m., I have enough proof to end my marriage. By dawn, I'm planning something much more interesting than divorce. Friday morning arrives like a hangover. I haven't slept, but I feel strangely alert, like I've been running on reserve power for months and someone finally plugged me back in. Vanessa texts at 7 a.m. Home by noon. Can we talk? Can we talk? As if she's the one with something important to discuss. I spend the morning organizing my evidence into a neat manila folder. Photos, credit card statements, location data, even a printout of her text claiming to be at Sarah's house while her phone pinged from downtown. It's thorough. It's damning. It's the kind of documentation that would make a divorce lawyer weep with joy. But I'm not thinking about lawyers yet. Vanessa arrives at 12:15, looking guilty and gorgeous, in that particular way women master when they're about to break your heart. She's carrying coffee from that expensive place downtown, peace offerings in cardboard cups. "Hey," she says, setting the coffee on the kitchen counter. "We need to talk." "Do we?" I'm leaning against the door frame, the manila folder tucked behind my back. "About what?" She takes a breath, composing herself. Even now, even caught, she's calculating her approach. "Lucas, I know things have been difficult between us lately. With your work situation and the kids and everything, I've been thinking maybe we should consider counseling." Counseling. I let the word hang in the air. To work on our communication issues? Exactly. Relief flickers across her face. She thinks she's steering this conversation. I feel like we're not connecting anymore. Like we're living separate lives. Separate lives, I repeat. That's an interesting way to put it. I pull the folder from behind my back and set it on the counter between us. Her eyes lock onto it like it's a bomb. "What's that?" she asks, but her voice has gone small. "Evidence," I say, "of your separate life." She doesn't move to open it. She doesn't need to. The guilt is written across her face in permanent marker. "Lucas, Romano's Bistro, Meridian Towers, the BMW, the black dress you claimed was too fancy for anywhere we'd go." Each item hits her like a physical blow. Should I continue? Her hands are shaking now. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think. I open the folder and spread the contents across the counter like a poker hand. 6 weeks of receipts, location data, photos. Your boyfriend's got expensive taste. What's his name? She stares at the evidence, her careful composure cracking. His name is Ethan. He's a colleague at the agency. Ethan. I taste the name, finding it bitter. And how long have you been sleeping with your colleague Ethan? She flinches at the profanity. I never swear at her, never raise my voice. I'm the steady one, the reliable one, the one who fixes things quietly and without drama. But that Lucas is apparently gone. 3 months, she whispers. 3 months. I nod, processing this. So this started right around the time I lost the Morrison project, when I was stressed about money and working 16-hour days trying to keep us afloat. Lucas, please what? Please understand that while I was eliminating myself to save our financial situation, you were trying on lingerie for another man? Please forgive the fact that you've been lying to our children every time you claim to be working late? Tears are streaming down her face now, but I feel nothing. No sympathy, no urge to comfort her. Just a cold, calculating rage that's surprisingly comfortable. I never meant for this to happen, she says. It just developed. Developed. I laugh, but there's no humor in it. Like a photograph or a disease. Don't be cruel. Cruel? I gather up the evidence, sliding it back into the folder. Vanessa, I haven't even started being cruel yet. She looks up at me then, really looks at me, and I see the moment she realizes the man she married, the pushover who absorbed her moods and apologized for things that weren't his fault, isn't standing in this kitchen anymore. What are you going to do? She asks. I smile, and it feels like stretching muscles I'd forgotten I had. I'm going to think about it. Take some time to consider my options. You know how I am with big decisions. I like to plan carefully. Lucas, you should pack a bag, I say. Go stay with Sarah, the real Sarah, in Portland. Give me some space to process this. What about the kids? What about them? They think you're a devoted mother who works hard to provide for her family. I see no reason to shatter their illusions. Yet. The threat hangs between us like smoke. She knows me well enough to understand that yet is doing a lot of work in that sentence. She nods, defeated, and heads upstairs to pack. I stay in the kitchen, sipping her peace-offering coffee and thinking about Ethan, about his BMW and his expensive watch and his hand on my wife's back. I'm thinking about a lot of things. Vanessa leaves for Portland on Saturday morning, spinning a story to the kids about helping Sarah through a difficult time. Emma and Jake accept it without question. They're teenagers, more concerned with their own drama than their parents' marriage. I almost envy their ignorance. By Monday, the gossip network has activated. I'm at Murphy's Hardware, buying screws for a cabinet repair, when I overhear two women discussing the situation. They don't see me around the corner in the plumbing aisle. I heard she's been having an affair for months, one says, with that handsome guy from her office. Ethan Morrison, the one with the BMW? Morrison. Of course, the same Morrison whose commercial project I lost 6 months ago. The universe has a twisted sense of humor. That's him. Apparently Lucas found out and threw her out of the house, made a huge scene. I didn't make any scene, but the truth rarely survives the telephone game of small-town gossip. By the time these stories make their rounds, I'll probably be wielding an axe and chasing Vanessa down 5th Street. I always thought she was too good for him, the second woman says. I mean, he's nice enough, but she's so put together, so ambitious. Right? And his business has been struggling for years. She probably got tired of carrying the family financially. I set down the screws and walk away. No point in correcting their narrative. Let them think what they want. But the comments sting because there's truth in them. Vanessa has been the primary breadwinner since the recession hit construction. She's the one with the growing client list, the networking events, the professional success. I've been treading water for years, taking whatever projects I could find just to stay relevant. Maybe that's why she strayed. Maybe Ethan Morrison represents everything I'm not. Successful, confident, financially secure. Maybe I've been so focused on keeping my head above water that I forgot to be a husband worth staying faithful to. The self-doubt lasts exactly 24 hours. Tuesday evening, I'm at O'Malley's pub, nursing a beer and trying to avoid the sympathetic looks from other patrons. The place is half empty, just the usual collection of divorced dads and lonely singles. My people, apparently. That's when Kyle Patterson walks in. Kyle and I used to be close friends. We played softball together, had barbecues, shared complaints about our wives and kids. But Kyle's also Vanessa's cousin, and family loyalty runs deep in the Patterson clan. He spots me immediately and walks over, his expression carefully neutral. "Lucas," he says, sliding into the booth across from me. "How are you holding up?" "I've been better." I take a sip of beer. "How's the family?" "Good. Listen, I wanted to talk to you about this situation with Vanessa." Here it comes. The intervention. The plea for understanding and forgiveness. "What about it?" Kyle leans forward, lowering his voice. "Look, I know you're hurt. I get that. But maybe you should consider that there might be more to this story than you realize. Such as the fact that you've been pretty difficult to live with lately, the drinking, the mood swings, the way you've been shutting everyone out." I set down my beer carefully. The drinking? Come on, man. It's been obvious for months. Vanessa's been worried sick about you. Worried sick. I repeat the words slowly. So worried that she decided to comfort herself with her colleague's dick. Kyle's face hardens. That's not fair. Fair? I laugh, loud enough to turn heads at the bar. Kyle, she's been lying to me for 3 months. Lying to our kids. Spending our money on hotel rooms and fancy dinners while I've been working myself into the ground trying to keep us solvent. But I'm the problem because I have a beer after work? You have more than a beer, Lucas, and you know it. The accusation hangs between us like a challenge. I realize this isn't an intervention. It's an ambush. Kyle didn't come here to check on me. He came here to justify his cousin's behavior by painting me as the villain. You know what, Kyle? You're right. I have been drinking more lately. Funny how discovering your wife is a cheating liar affects your alcohol consumption. She made a mistake. A mistake? I stand up, my voice rising. A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. A mistake is double booking dinner plans. 3 months of sleeping with another man isn't a mistake. It's a choice, a series of choices. The pub has gone quiet. Everyone's watching now, probably taking mental notes for tomorrow's gossip session. Kyle stands too, his jaw tight. You need to calm down. I need to calm down, I repeat. Right. Because the appropriate response to adultery is calm acceptance. Maybe I should send Ethan a thank you card for keeping my wife entertained while I was being such a difficult husband. Lucas, tell me something, Kyle. How long have you known? The question catches him off guard. His eyes flicker and I have my answer. How long? I press. It doesn't matter. It matters to me. How long have you known that Vanessa was cheating on me? He doesn't answer, but the guilt on his face is eloquent. Weeks? I guess. Months? Still nothing. You've known from the beginning, I realize. She told you, maybe asked for advice. And you what? Encouraged her? Told her she deserved better? It's not that simple. It's exactly that simple. I throw a 20 on the table. You chose your side, Kyle. Don't pretend this is about my drinking or my mood swings or whatever other bullshit justification you've cooked up. You chose to help my wife betray me, and now you're here trying to make me the villain so you can sleep better at night. I head for the door, but Kyle grabs my arm. Where are you going? I look down at his hand on my arm, then back at his face. I'm going home, to think, to plan, to decide what comes next. Lucas, don't do anything stupid. I smile, and Kyle actually takes a step back. Kyle, I'm an architect. I don't do anything stupid. I design things carefully, methodically, with attention to every detail, and right now, I'm designing something very special. I pull free of his grip and walk out into the night, leaving Kyle standing in the pub with his guilt and his family loyalty. Time to get creative. Wednesday morning brings revelation in the form of social media. I'm scrolling through Facebook, something I rarely do, when I see a photo that stops me cold. It's from 3 weeks ago, posted by Sarah Martinez, one of Vanessa's work friends. The image shows a group of women at what looks like a wine bar, all smiling and raising glasses. The caption reads, Girls' Night, supporting V through her difficult situation. Vanessa is in the center of the photo, looking radiant. Not like a woman torn apart by guilt over betraying her husband, like a woman celebrating her freedom. I click through to the comments. You deserve happiness, girl, writes Jennifer Chen, another realtor from Meridian. About time you put yourself first, adds Lisa Rodriguez. Life's too short. Can't wait to meet the new guy properly, Sarah Martinez responds. He seems amazing. The new guy. They've met him. They know about Ethan and they're celebrating. I screenshot everything. A deeper dive through Sarah's photos reveals more evidence. Vanessa at a company barbecue 2 months ago, standing close to a tall man who must be Ethan. Vanessa at some kind of work event, wearing the diamond earrings I gave her for Christmas while laughing at something off camera. But it's the comments, that really tell the story. These women, Vanessa's support network, her cheerleaders, they've known about the affair from the beginning. Not only known about it, but encouraged it. "Your husband doesn't appreciate you anyway," Lisa commented on a photo from 6 weeks ago. "Some men just can't handle a successful woman," Jennifer added. "You're glowing lately. New skincare routine?" Sarah wrote, followed by a string of laughing emojis. "They turned my wife's adultery into a girls' night joke. Made me the punchline of their empowerment narrative. I'm still processing this when my phone rings. It's Tom Bradley, my former business partner and one of the few people I still consider a friend. "Hey, Lucas," he says, but his tone is off. "Careful. How are you doing?" "I've been better. What's up?" "Listen, I heard about what's happening with you and Vanessa. I'm sorry, man. That's rough." "Thanks. I appreciate it. The thing is..." He pauses, and I can hear him choosing his words carefully. "I got a call from the Morrison Group yesterday. They're reconsidering the mall project." The Morrison Group. Ethan's family business. The project I lost 6 months ago that started our financial slide. Reconsidering? They want to know if I'd be interested in taking it on. Solo. The implication hits me like a physical blow. Without me. "Lucas, I don't think this is personal." "It's completely personal, Tom. Ethan Morrison is sleeping with my wife, and now his family is trying to destroy what's left of my business." Silence on the other end. "You're going to take it," I say. "It's not a question. I have to think about my family, Lucas. My kids' college funds, my mortgage." "Right. Of course." I'm surprised by how calm I sound. "It's just business." "Lucas, Tom, let me ask you something. When did you find out about Vanessa and Ethan?" Another pause. Longer this time. "Tom, a few weeks ago, at the Chamber of Commerce mixer, I saw them together and it was pretty obvious." "And you didn't think to mention it to me?" "I thought it wasn't my place." "But taking a project from your business partner, that is your place? That's not fair." "Fair?" I laugh, but there's no humor in it. "Tom, nothing about this situation is fair. My wife is cheating on me with a man whose family is systematically destroying my livelihood. My friends have been covering for her, and now my business partner is stabbing me in the back. But you're right. I shouldn't expect fairness. Lucas, if you just..." I hang up. I sit in my kitchen, surrounded by the evidence of my wife's betrayal and my friend's complicity, and something crystallizes in my mind. This isn't just about adultery. It's about a coordinated campaign to erase me from my own life. Vanessa didn't just cheat. She built a support network that validated her choices and demonized me. She turned our friends against me, painted me as the problem, the obstacle to her happiness. And now the Morrison family is using their influence to destroy my business, probably at Ethan's suggestion. They want me gone, completely. Not just divorced, but professionally ruined, socially isolated, financially devastated. Well, they're about to learn something about architects. We don't just design buildings. We understand systems, networks, how to identify the load-bearing elements and what happens when you remove them. Time to start some demolition. Thursday night, I'm in my study with a bottle of bourbon and a legal pad, sketching out what I call the network map. It's something I learned in business school, a visual representation of relationships, influences, and dependencies within a system. At the center, I draw Vanessa. Around her, I map out her support network: Sarah Martinez, Jennifer Chen, Lisa Rodriguez, her cousin Kyle, her boss Derek Morrison, Ethan's uncle, and of course, Ethan himself. Lines connect them all: professional relationships, family ties, friendships, shared interests. It's a web of mutual support and protection, with me cast as the outsider, the problem to be solved. But every system has vulnerabilities. I start with social media research. Sarah Martinez, the woman who posted about supporting Vanessa through her difficult situation, has her own secrets. Her Facebook posts from 6 months ago tell a story of marital problems, cryptic references to trust issues and starting over. A deeper dive through her tagged photos reveals she's been spending time with Derek Morrison, Vanessa's married boss, and Ethan's uncle. Interesting. Jennifer Chen, the realtor who encouraged Vanessa to put herself first, has been having professional troubles. The State Real Estate Commission website shows she's under investigation for disclosure violations on 3 recent sales. Career-ending stuff if it goes public. Lisa Rodriguez, who thinks Vanessa deserves better than me, has been posting about financial stress. Her mortgage is underwater, her car is being repossessed, and she's been asking friends for loans to cover basic expenses. Everyone has pressure points. I pour another bourbon and start making calls. My first call is to Marcus Webb, a private investigator I used years ago for background checks on potential business partners. Marcus is discreet, thorough, and expensive. Perfect for what I need. "Lucas," he says, recognizing my voice. "It's been a while. What can I do for you?" "I need information on several people, deep background, financial records, professional history, personal relationships, the works. This wouldn't have anything to do with your wife's situation, would it? Small towns. Everyone knows everyone's business. It has everything to do with my wife's situation. I see. You know I can't help you with anything illegal. I'm not asking you to break any laws, Marcus. I just want information. Public records, social media analysis, professional background checks, all completely legal. And expensive. Money isn't an issue. That's not entirely true, but I've been saving for years for a new truck. Revenge seems like a better investment. Send me the names, Marcus says. I'll have preliminary reports by Monday. My second call is to Rebecca Torres, a divorce attorney with a reputation for being ruthless. I've never met her, but I've heard stories. She's the lawyer you hire when you want to leave your spouse with nothing but debt and regret. Mr. Thompson, she says, after I explain my situation, I've reviewed the evidence you described. It's quite comprehensive. Is it enough? More than enough. With this level of documentation, we could pursue adultery-based divorce, which would significantly impact property division and spousal support. Good. But I want to wait on filing. Wait? Why? I want to explore other options first. Make sure I understand the full scope of what I'm dealing with. Mr. Thompson, I should warn you against taking any action that could be construed as harassment or intimidation. I'm not planning to harass anyone, Ms. Torres. I'm planning to expose them. Friday morning, I drive to the Meridian Real Estate office downtown. It's a glass and chrome monument to success, all modern lines and expensive furniture. Vanessa's been working here for 3 years, building what she calls her professional network. Time to meet that network in person. The receptionist, a young woman with perfect makeup and a practiced smile, looks up as I enter. Good morning, she says. How can I help you? I'm Lucas Thompson, Vanessa Thompson's husband. I was hoping to speak with Derek Morrison about a business matter. Her smile falters slightly. Mr. Morrison is in a meeting. I'll wait. I settle into one of the leather chairs in the waiting area and pull out my phone, making a show of reviewing emails. In reality, I'm listening to conversations, observing interactions, mapping the office dynamics. Sarah Martinez walks by and does a double take when she sees me. We've met at company events, but never under these circumstances. She approaches cautiously. Lucas, what are you doing here? Waiting to speak with Derek. Business matter. Oh, she fidgets with her phone. How are you? With everything that's happening? You mean with my wife's affair? I say it loud enough for the receptionist to hear. I'm managing. Thanks for asking. Sarah's face goes red. Lucas, maybe this isn't the place. For what? For discussing my wife's relationship with Ethan Morrison? You're right. The place for that discussion was 3 months ago when it started. But somehow I was left out of that conversation. Other agents are starting to notice. Conversations are stopping, heads are turning. Perfect. I should get back to work, Sarah mumbles. Of course. Give my regards to Derek, will you? Tell him I'm looking forward to our chat. She hurries away, already pulling out her phone, probably warning Derek that the crazy husband is in the building. 10 minutes later, Derek Morrison emerges from his office. He's a tall, silver-haired man in an expensive suit, radiating the kind of confidence that comes from never having to worry about money. He looks like an older version of Ethan. Mr. Thompson, he says, extending his hand. I'm Derek Morrison. I understand you wanted to speak with me. His handshake is firm, his smile practiced, but his eyes are wary. I did. Thank you for making time. Of course. My office? I follow him into a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Photos on his desk show a family, wife, kids, grandchildren. A happy, successful man with everything to lose. What can I do for you? He asks, settling behind his desk. I wanted to discuss my wife's employment here, specifically her relationship with your nephew. Derek's expression doesn't change, but his hands still on the desk. I'm not sure what you mean. I think you do. Ethan Morrison, your nephew, the man my wife has been having an affair with for the past 3 months. Now Derek reacts. His face hardens, and he leans forward slightly. Mr. Thompson, I don't think this is an appropriate conversation for my office. Where would be appropriate? Your nephew's condo? Romano's bistro? The Marriott downtown? I think you should leave. I stand, but I don't move toward the door. Instead, I walk to his window, looking out at the city below. Beautiful view, I say. You can see everything from up here, the whole city spread out like a blueprint. Mr. Thompson. I'm an architect, Derek. Can I call you Derek? I understand systems, how they work, how they fail, how small problems can bring down entire structures if they're not addressed properly. I turn back to face him. Your nephew is a problem, and problems have a way of spreading. Derek stands, his face flushed with anger. Are you threatening me? I'm explaining structural engineering. When one support beam fails, the load shifts to other beams. If they can't handle the additional stress, I shrug. Well, you get the idea. Get out. Of course. I head for the door, then pause. Oh, and Derek? Give my regards to Sarah Martinez. Lovely woman. I'm sure your wife would enjoy meeting her. I leave him standing behind his desk, his face pale with understanding. The game has begun. Marcus Webb's report arrives Monday morning via encrypted email. It's 43 pages of devastating detail, and it's beautiful in its thoroughness. Sarah Martinez, currently having an affair with Derek Morrison. Hotel receipts, credit card statements, even photos from a weekend in Atlantic City. Her divorce was finalized 8 months ago, but Derek's very much married to a woman whose family owns half the commercial real estate in the county. Jennifer Chen, under investigation by the State Real Estate Commission for 3 separate disclosure violations. If the violations are substantiated, she'll lose her license and face potential criminal charges for fraud. Lisa Rodriguez. Desperate financial situation is worse than her social media suggests. She's behind on her mortgage, her car payment, and she owes the IRS $47,000 in back taxes. She's been using client escrow accounts to cover personal expenses, a felony that could land her in prison. Kyle Patterson. My former friend has been gambling. Badly. He owes $32,000 to various bookmakers and has been borrowing against his construction company to cover the debts. Ethan Morrison. Trust fund baby with expensive tastes and a cocaine habit. He's been skimming from client accounts to fund his lifestyle, and he's currently being investigated by the company's accounting firm. Derek Morrison. Beyond the affair with Sarah, he's been using his position to steer contracts to companies he has hidden ownership in. It's not technically illegal, but it would destroy his reputation and cost him his real estate license if it became public. Everyone in Vanessa's support network is compromised. Everyone has secrets that could destroy them. Time to start applying pressure. I begin with Lisa Rodriguez. Tuesday afternoon, I call her office and schedule an appointment to discuss selling our house. She's eager to help, probably sees it as a chance to earn a commission while supporting her friend Vanessa's narrative. We meet at a coffee shop downtown, and Lisa arrives with her professional smile and a folder full of market comparisons. "Lucas," she says, sliding into the booth across from me. "I'm so glad you called. I know this must be a difficult time, but selling the house is probably the right move. Fresh starts and all that." Fresh starts, I agree. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. She opens her folder and starts showing me comparable sales, talking about market conditions and pricing strategies. I let her go through her presentation, nodding at appropriate moments. "So," she concludes, "based on recent sales in your neighborhood, I think we could list at $450 and probably get asking price within 30 days. "That sounds reasonable," I say. "But I have some concerns about working together." Her smile falters slightly. "Concerns?" "Well, Lisa, I've been doing some research into real estate practices, and I've learned some disturbing things about agent conduct. Did you know that using client escrow funds for personal expenses is a felony?" The color drains from her face. I don't know what you mean." "Of course you don't." I pull out a manila folder, a smaller version of the one I showed Vanessa. "But hypothetically, if an agent were to borrow from client escrow accounts to cover personal debts, say back taxes or mortgage payments, that would be considered theft. The penalties are quite severe." Lisa's hands are shaking now. "Lucas, what are you doing?" "I'm having a conversation about real estate ethics, hypothetically speaking. This isn't about the house at all, is it? It's about trust, Lisa, about loyalty, about the consequences of choosing sides without understanding the full situation." I lean forward, lowering my voice. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to call Vanessa tonight and explain that you can no longer support her current life choices. You're going to tell her that adultery is wrong, that she should work on her marriage, and that she needs to end her affair immediately." I can't do that. You can and you will. Because the alternative is that I send this information to the State Real Estate Commission, the IRS, and the District Attorney's Office. Your choice. Lisa stares at me like I've grown a second head. "You're blackmailing me." "I'm offering you an opportunity to do the right thing. What you call it is up to you." She gathers her papers with trembling hands. "This isn't over." "No," I agree. "It's not. Wednesday I have lunch with Kyle Patterson. He suggests Murphy's Deli, a place we used to go regularly before my wife's family loyalty turned him against me. I arrive first and choose a corner booth where we can talk privately. Kyle shows up looking uncomfortable, like a man walking into a trap. Smart man. "Lucas," he says, sliding into the booth. "Thanks for calling. I've been wanting to clear the air between us." "Have you?" I signal the waitress for coffee. "That's interesting, because I've been wanting to clear some things up too. Look, about what I said at O'Malley's. You mean when you tried to convince me that my wife's adultery was somehow my fault?" Kyle shifts in his seat. "I was trying to help. Sometimes these situations are more complicated than they seem." "You're right about that." I pull out another folder. "They're much more complicated." Kyle eyes the folder warily. "What's that?" "Information about gambling debts, business loans, and the kinds of people who get upset when they're not paid on time." Kyle goes very still. "I don't know what you're talking about." $32,000, Kyle, spread across 4 different bookmakers. You've been using your construction company as collateral, but the business is leveraged to the breaking point. One missed payment and you lose everything. How did you? I'm thorough. It's what made me a good architect, and it's what makes me a dangerous enemy. Kyle's face is flushed with anger and embarrassment. You son of a bitch. Careful, Kyle. We're family, remember? At least until the divorce is final. What do you want? I want you to call Vanessa. Tonight. I want you to tell her that you've been thinking about the situation and you believe she's making a mistake. I want you to encourage her to end the affair and work on her marriage. And if I don't? Then I make some phone calls to your creditors. Let them know about your financial situation. Maybe suggest they should collect their debts before your business goes under. Kyle stares at me for a long moment. You've changed, Lucas. This isn't who you used to be. You're right. I used to be the kind of man who let people walk all over him, who absorbed abuse and betrayal and called it keeping the peace. But that man was weak. This man is what you created when you chose to help my wife destroy our marriage. I was trying to help her. You were trying to help her betray me. There's a difference. Kyle stands, throwing a 20 on the table. I'll make the call. But after this, we're done, family or not. Kyle, I say as he turns to leave. We were done the moment you chose her over me. I'm just making it official. Thursday, I visit Jennifer Chen. Her office is in a strip mall on the south side of town, nothing like the glass palace where Vanessa works. Jennifer is struggling, and it shows in her cheap furniture and outdated equipment. She looks surprised when I walk in. Lucas, what are you doing here? I wanted to discuss a business opportunity, I say, settling into the chair across from her desk. I'm thinking about investing in real estate, and I heard you might be looking for investors. Jennifer brightens. Really? That's great. I mean, I do have some opportunities that might interest you. I'm sure you do, but first, I wanted to discuss your current legal situation. Her smile disappears. My what? The investigation by the State Real Estate Commission. 3 disclosure violations is quite serious, isn't it? Jennifer's face goes white. How did you know about that? I know about a lot of things, Jennifer. I know about the disclosure violations. I know about the potential criminal charges. I know about the client who's considering a civil lawsuit. Lucas, I can explain. I'm sure you can, but explanations won't save your license or keep you out of prison. I lean forward, adopting a sympathetic tone. Jennifer, I might be able to help you. I have some connections in the legal community. People who might be willing to speak on your behalf if you were to demonstrate genuine remorse for your mistakes. What kind of remorse? The kind that involves calling Vanessa and explaining that you can no longer support her current choices. The kind that involves encouraging her to end her affair and work on her marriage. Jennifer stares at me, understanding dawning in her eyes. You're serious. Completely serious. And if I don't? Then you face your legal troubles alone, and I might feel compelled to share what I know with additional interested parties. Jennifer nods slowly. I'll make the call. I thought you might. By Friday evening, Vanessa's support network is crumbling. Lisa, Kyle, and Jennifer have all called her, each delivering the same message. End the affair, work on your marriage, stop making destructive choices. Vanessa calls me at 8 p.m., her voice shaking with confusion and anger. What did you do? She demands. I had some conversations with your friends, I say calmly. Apparently, they've had time to reflect on the situation and decided they can no longer support your current lifestyle choices. Bullshit. You threatened them. I informed them. There's a difference. Lucas, this is insane. You can't just... I can't what? I can't expect loyalty from my friends. I can't expect my wife to honor her marriage vows. I can't expect people to face consequences for their choices. This isn't you. This isn't who you are. You're right, I say. This is who you made me. And Vanessa, I'm just getting started. Saturday morning, I'm in my study reviewing phase 2 of my plan when the doorbell rings. Through the window, I can see Derek Morrison's Mercedes in my driveway. He's brought backup, 2 men in expensive suits who look like they've never missed a meal or lost a fight. Interesting. I open the door with a smile. Derek? What a pleasant surprise. And you brought friends. Derek's face is hard, his usual polish replaced by barely controlled anger. "We need to talk." "Of course. Come in." I lead them to the living room, gesturing to the couch. Derek sits, but his companions remain standing, flanking him like bodyguards. "Can I offer you coffee? Something stronger?" "Cut the shit, Thompson," Derek says. "I know what you've been doing." "What have I been doing?" "Threatening people, blackmailing them, trying to destroy my nephew's relationship with your wife." "Your nephew's relationship with my wife," I repeat slowly. "That's an interesting way to describe adultery. Their relationship is none of your business. Their relationship is exactly my business. She's my wife. Those are my children she's lying to. That's my marriage she's destroying." I settle into my chair, completely relaxed, despite the obvious intimidation attempt. "But let's talk about relationships, Derek. How long have you been sleeping with Sarah Martinez?" Derek's face goes pale. His companions exchange glances. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Of course you don't. Just like you don't know about the Atlantic City weekend, or the hotel receipts, or the fact that Sarah's been telling people she's found someone special who understands her." "You son of a bitch." "Language, Derek. We're all civilized men here." One of Derek's companions steps forward. He's built like a linebacker, with hands that look like they could crush walnuts. "Maybe we should explain to Mr. Thompson why it would be in his best interest to back off." I look up at him with genuine curiosity. "And you are?" "Someone who solves problems," the man says. "How exciting. I love meeting fellow problem solvers." I stand and walk to my desk, pulling out a thick folder. "Since we're all here, maybe we should discuss the full scope of the problems we're dealing with." I open the folder and start laying out photographs and documents. Derek's affair with Sarah, Ethan's cocaine habit and embezzlement, the contract steering scheme, Sarah's financial desperation. It's quite a web of problems, isn't it? Derek stands, his face flushed with rage. "You're making a mistake, Thompson. A big mistake." "Am I? Let me explain something about mistakes, Derek. A mistake is something you do once, realize it's wrong, and correct. What your nephew has been doing to my marriage isn't a mistake. It's a campaign. And campaigns require strategic responses." I walk to the window, looking out at the street. "You know what I find interesting about your visit today? You didn't come here to apologize. You didn't come here to make things right. You came here to intimidate me into accepting the destruction of my family." I turn back to face them. "That tells me everything I need to know about your character." The linebacker takes another step forward. "Maybe you need a more direct explanation." "Stop." Derek holds up a hand, his eyes never leaving mine. "What do you want, Thompson?" "I want my wife back. I want my marriage repaired. I want your nephew to disappear from our lives permanently." "And if that's not possible?" I smile, and Derek actually takes a step back. "Then I want everyone involved to understand the consequences of their choices." "You're talking about mutually assured destruction. I'm talking about justice. Your nephew seduced my wife. Your family is destroying my business. Your network of friends and colleagues has been working to isolate me and paint me as the villain. You've been waging war against me for months, Derek. I'm just finally fighting back." Derek looks at the documents spread across my coffee table, calculating the damage they could cause. "What would it take to make this go away?" "It's too late for that. The wheels are already in motion." "What wheels?" I check my watch. "In about 2 hours, copies of everything in that folder will be delivered to your wife, Sarah's ex-husband, the State Real Estate Commission, the IRS, and several local journalists who specialize in corruption stories." Derek's face goes white. "You can't." "I can and I will. Unless what?" "Unless Ethan calls my wife in the next hour and ends their relationship, permanently. No contact, no communication, no explanations, just done. And then we see what happens. Maybe Vanessa comes home and we work on our marriage. Maybe she doesn't, and we get divorced like civilized adults. But either way, Your nephew stays out of our lives forever. Derek pulls out his phone, but I hold up a hand. Derek, make sure Ethan understands the stakes here. If he ever contacts my wife again, if I ever see him near my family, if he so much as drives down my street, everything goes public immediately. No warnings, no negotiations, just complete exposure. Derek nods and steps into the hallway to make the call. His companions remain in the living room, watching me like I might suddenly become dangerous, if they only knew. 20 minutes later, Derek returns. It's done. Ethan will call Vanessa within the hour. Excellent. I start gathering up the documents. Gentlemen, thank you for visiting. It's been illuminating. Derek hesitates at the door. Thompson, if you think this is over... Derek, this is over when I say it's over. And right now, I'm just getting warmed up. After they leave, I pour myself a bourbon and wait for Vanessa's call. It comes 37 minutes later. Lucas, she says, and I can hear she's been crying. Ethan just called. He ended things. Did he? He said he couldn't see me anymore, that it was too complicated, too dangerous. He wouldn't explain what he meant. I see. Lucas, did you have something to do with this? I take a sip of bourbon, considering my answer. Vanessa, I've spent the last week learning some very interesting things about your friends, your colleagues, and your lover. It turns out everyone has secrets. Everyone has vulnerabilities. Everyone has something to lose. What does that mean? It means that actions have consequences. It means that when you declare war on someone's family, you shouldn't be surprised when they fight back. Silence on the other end. Vanessa, you have a choice to make. You can come home, and we can try to rebuild what you destroyed. Or you can stay in Portland, and we can proceed with the divorce. But either way, your affair is over. And if I choose to come home? Then we start counseling. We work on our problems like adults. We try to give our children the stable family they deserve. And if I choose divorce? Then we handle it professionally. Fair division of assets, reasonable custody arrangements, no unnecessary drama. But either way, I can never see Ethan again. Either way, you face the consequences of your choices, just like everyone else involved in this situation. Another long silence. I need time to think, she says finally. You have until Sunday evening. After that, I start making decisions for both of us. Lucas, Vanessa, I'm not the same man you left 2 weeks ago. I'm not the pushover who absorbed your moods and apologized for things that weren't his fault. You created something new when you betrayed me, and you're going to have to live with what you made. I hang up and finish my bourbon, watching the sun set over the city I've called home for 15 years. Tomorrow, Vanessa will make her choice, and I'll be ready for whatever she decides, because I'm not just an architect anymore. I'm the architect of revenge, and my masterpiece is almost complete. Sunday evening arrives with unseasonable warmth and the kind of golden light that makes everything look like a movie set. I'm in my study, reviewing architectural plans for a small office building, actual paying work for once, when I hear Vanessa's car in the driveway. She's home. I don't get up immediately. Let her come to me. Let her make the first move in whatever conversation we're about to have. The front door opens and closes. Footsteps in the hallway. A pause outside my study door. Lucas? Come in. Vanessa appears in the doorway, looking smaller than I remember. She's wearing jeans and a simple sweater, none of the careful styling she adopted during her affair. Her face is bare of makeup, her eyes red from crying or lack of sleep. I'm back, she says unnecessarily. I can see that. She hovers in the doorway like she's afraid to enter her own house. Can we talk? I gesture to the chair across from my desk. She sits carefully as if the furniture might bite her. I ended it, she says. Completely. I told Ethan I couldn't see him anymore. He ended it, I correct. You just agreed. She flinches. Does it matter? It matters because it tells me whether you chose our marriage or had the choice made for you. Vanessa looks down at her hands. I chose to come home. After your other option was eliminated. Lucas, please. I know I hurt you. I know I made terrible choices, but I want to try to fix this. Do you? Or do you just want to avoid the consequences of your choices? She looks up at me then, and I see something I haven't seen in months. Genuine vulnerability. Both, she admits. I want to fix us, and I want to avoid a messy divorce that destroys our children's lives and leaves me financially ruined. The honesty is unexpected, and oddly refreshing. At least you're being truthful now. I've been thinking about what you said, about consequences, about the person you've become. She pauses, choosing her words carefully. I created this situation, didn't I? All of it. The affair, the lies, the way our friends turned against you. I set it all in motion. Yes, you did. And you, what you did to Derek and Sarah and the others, that was your response to what I created. It was. She nods slowly. I never saw you as someone who could be dangerous. I thought you were safe, predictable. Someone who would absorb whatever I did and just keep trying to make things work. I was that person. For 15 years I was that person. But not anymore. No, not anymore. We sit in silence for a moment, the weight of our destroyed marriage hanging between us like smoke. So, what happens now? She asks. Now we find out if there's anything left worth saving. Is there? I consider the question seriously. 3 weeks ago I would have said yes without hesitation. I would have forgiven her, absorbed the pain, and tried to rebuild our relationship on the foundation of my willingness to overlook her betrayal. But that man is gone. In his place is someone harder, more calculating, less willing to accept less than he deserves. I don't know, I say finally, but I'm willing to find out. Under certain conditions. What conditions? Complete transparency. I want access to your phone, your email, your social media accounts. I want to know where you are at all times. I want detailed explanations of any interactions with male colleagues or clients. Her face tightens. That sounds like prison. It sounds like the price of betrayal. You destroyed trust, Vanessa. This is what rebuilding it looks like. For how long? For as long as it takes. Maybe 6 months. Maybe 6 years. Maybe forever. She absorbs this, understanding that her choices have permanently altered the power dynamic in our marriage. What else? Counseling. Individual and couples. Weekly sessions with therapists I choose. Okay. You quit Meridian Real Estate. Find a new job somewhere that doesn't employ your former lover or his family. Lucas, that's my career. Your career was built on a network that encouraged you to betray your marriage. Time to build a new network. She nods reluctantly. And finally, I say, you write letters of apology to Emma and Jake. You explain that you made choices that hurt our family, and you ask for their forgiveness. The kids don't know about the affair. They know something happened. They're not stupid, Vanessa. They know you left for 2 weeks. They know I've been different. They know their parents' marriage is in trouble. They deserve honesty. Tears are streaming down her face now. Anything else? Yes. You never lie to me again. About anything. Ever. Because if I catch you in even the smallest deception, this marriage is over immediately. I understand. Do you? Because I'm not the same man who married you, Vanessa. I'm not the same man who forgave your moods and absorbed your criticism and apologized for things that weren't my fault. You created someone new when you betrayed me, and you're going to have to live with what you made. She wipes her eyes with the back of her hand. What did you make me into? I lean back in my chair, considering the question. Someone who doesn't accept less than he deserves. Someone who understands that kindness without strength is just weakness. Someone who knows that the people who love you are the ones with the power to destroy you, and acts accordingly. That sounds cold. It is cold, but it's also honest, and after 3 months of lies, I think we could use some honesty. Vanessa stands, smoothing down her sweater. I should unpack. Check on the kids. They missed you, I say. Despite everything, they missed their mother. And you? Did you miss me? I look at her, really look at her, for the first time since she walked in. She's still beautiful, still the woman I fell in love with 17 years ago. But she's also the woman who betrayed me, who lied to our children, who tried to turn our friends against me. I missed who I thought you were, I say finally. Whether I'll miss who you actually are remains to be seen. She nods and turns to leave, then pauses at the door. Lucas, what you did to Derek and the others, what you're capable of when someone threatens your family, it's terrifying. Good, I say. It should be. After she leaves, I return to my architectural plans, but I can't concentrate. Outside, the sun has set completely, leaving the city in darkness. Inside, my house feels different, fuller somehow, like a missing piece has been restored to its proper place. But restoration isn't the same as repair, and repair isn't the same as forgiveness. My phone buzzes with a text from Marcus Webb. Heard through the grapevine that Derek Morrison is taking early retirement. Sarah Martinez has left town. Thought you'd want to know. I smile and pour myself a bourbon. The network that supported my wife's betrayal is crumbling, its members scattered to deal with their own exposed secrets and ruined reputations. Vanessa is upstairs, unpacking her bags and trying to rebuild relationships with children who don't understand why their mother abandoned them for 2 weeks. Tomorrow, she'll start the process of finding a new job, a new therapist, a new way of living that doesn't involve lying to her family. And I'm in my study, drinking bourbon and reviewing blueprints, transformed from a man who absorbed abuse into someone who dishes it out with surgical precision. We're all living with the consequences of our choices now, all dealing with what we've made of ourselves and each other. The question is whether any of us will like who we've become. But that's a problem for tomorrow. Tonight I have work to do. I'm an architect, after all, and I'm very good at designing things that last.